How are you all? Hey. My apologies for being late. No disrespect ever intended. Just come from a talk with the student athletes. Man, the culture here, that was the word. The culture here is phenomenal. And it's talking about stay in the game. For you people that don't know, we do teammates for kids. It's our foundation. Stay in the game is our stadium kind of run. Stay in the game is a nice way to talk about what's taking the lives of most of our teenagers now over health or anything, and that's suicide. These are not the kids that's even going to contemplate that. But our whole thing to them is to make sure they understand in a culture, especially like this, they are heroes of this community, and how they act affects everybody else, and how they reach out to other people. So you do that, and you move on to the press conference. The crazy thing that happened here was the questions started happening, which was beautiful. So when that happens, as much as I don't want to ever offend anybody by being late, probably the most important work you'll get to do as an artist is get to work with the next generation. And they were very inquisitive, very sincere, and I did not want to bring that to a halt. So again, my apologies for being late. We got to cover some things. I know Nancy wants to move quick because we have a lot of one-on-ones and stuff. I want to make sure you know I want to take my time. I want to slow down because you guys' son stays up a long time here, right? And so we're filming tonight. So let's be casual, let's roll. So the first message I'd like to get out to anybody coming to the show tonight is it's going to be kind of back a little more than what you're thinking. So let's say that the time is 7 o'clock for the first opening act. It'll probably be more like 7:15, 7:30. We're just going to kind of let it roll, get in there, because we're going to need it to be dark to film when Blake gets here. So we're just going to take our time. Hope everybody have a good time and not get a lot of pressure on this thing. The opening act tonight also, it just happened out of serendipity. And forgive me for talking so much, I never do this, but I got some things I think if Aaron's in the room. Aaron, I need to make sure that we get the list of things. Okay. If you guys have ever seen road touring acts, the guitar tech that brings your guitar out to you can play guitar 1,000 times better than you can. The guy that's adjusting your mic can sing 1,000 times better than you can. So know that the guy that's rigging this place is a phenomenal guitar player. The guy that's shooting camera on this thing is an amazing drummer. So what we decided to do with this tour was two things. We decided to have the crew open one show a year. This is the city. And so the crew is actually playing tonight before Granger is, right? So we got Granger tonight and we got Dylan tomorrow? Yeah, okay. So the crew will be playing before. So we've got to find out some way, we'll find out some way to make sure that the crowd knows who they're watching tonight play music, and you won't believe it, are going to be the same guys that's actually running the show, putting up, that's been here all week putting it up. So hardworking guys, but very talented guys. So the whole thing is to have fun for the crowd, but mostly just to get your crew so scared shitless that they can't walk out to the thing and enjoy that, so they can finally feel what it's like to be nervous as hell as you're walking out to get ready to play. So the more they know about music and the more they get to play, the more they understand us. And so the more they understand us, the better we work together as a team. So this is going to be fun tonight. So we got a lot of music. Blake's going to be here. He's on his way here right now. And as far as that goes, guys, I hate to say this. If you're lucky in this business, someone's going to call you the nicest guy on the planet. Well, whoever they say it about, even if it's Garth Brooks, they're lying. The nicest guy on the planet, Blake Shelton. This guy has said yes to everything. Sweetest guy. He doesn't care. When are you going to get here? When do you want? You know, he's the best guy on the planet. No ego whatsoever, and talented and beautiful. My wife has been waiting for this day for a long time. She loves Blake, so this is going to be a lot of fun. Glad it's happening here because this is a spot we missed on the 3-year tour, on the comeback tour. And so this will be like getting to do all the stuff you've learned in the last 3 years, take everything you got to do in the 90s and put it together for a first-time show here. That means it's going to get exciting, it's going to get loud, it's going to get fun. So really, really looking forward to this because of the culture of this area and because of the way this area has always supported us. I don't know how many people were here in the early 90s or late 90s, but if you came to one of those shows, this is one of those places you're lucky to get out with your life because the fans are just that way. And so the greatest compliment I think you can ever pay a city is to not come here for the first time, but to come back here because you've been here before. And so that's why we're all here. There won't be anybody on that stage that doesn't know this city, because all the players are the same players. We'll introduce them tonight, but the rookie of the bunch is 24 years in, and then there's the original day guys. We've been together for, it's either 113 or 114 years this year. We're celebrating our anniversary together. That was a joke, but yes, we've been together a long time. So is that it, Miss Nancy? We got, Aaron, we got everything?
That's it.
Okay. So my favorite part about this is just taking questions and just talking. So my one thing is, if you're going to ask a question, please identify yourself so I'll know who I'm talking to, please. Hey, Don.
So you talked about your teammates for kids. You had said that Roberto Clemente was an inspiration.
Yes, sir. Very much so. Roberto did a lot of work for children. But besides being one of the most naturally gifted players and not one of the more flashier ones, but the one everybody respected and loved. So he was my guy, the quiet guy that was it. He was he wore the black and gold, which started my love for the black and gold, the entire city, as a kid. And so when he died, I was 10 years old or 9 years old. And I made him a promise the day he died that I would do something in foundation work like he did. And kind of forgot the promise until Teammates for Kids came up really kind of late in my life. I think this is our 20th year, so it came up in my 30s. And just latched onto it, and now I'm going to brag a little bit about Teammates, not myself, but Teammates is in over 60 countries, over 4,500 professional athletes, and it's the most proud thing I've ever got to be a part of, other than being a father and a husband to my wife. It's the most important work I've ever got to do. Thank you for asking. Yes, sir.
Hi, Joey Proctor with KTVB. You mentioned
Hey, Joe.
Blake Shelton being the nicest guy in the
Yeah.
world. Any chance he would say yes to doing a second show tomorrow night?
Oh, him? No, because he's the busiest guy on the planet, too. So the reason why we got him is it's Friday. That's it. He's gone on every Saturday because we were trying to get it done somewhere else. And then when your governor was sweet enough to call and ask for another show, I just put in the thing, hey, I know Friday's like a Saturday, I'm sure. And he goes, no, he's actually off Friday and would love to do it. So I think this is, I believe in karma, or things are just the way they happen, they're going to this way. And I believe this is just all the cards kind of falling in the right spot. So I'll apologize to the Saturday night crowd because that show won't be as good because Blake's not here. But tonight's going to be a blast. Yes, sir.
Michael Katz from the Idaho Statesman.
Hey, Mike.
I believe last time you performed here was 1992.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine Boise probably looked a lot different back then. Is it even recognizable now from last time you were here?
Well, the college feels that way because we played in the same place. And then we came over here, the track's missing. We came over here and played on the blue because everybody wants to play on the blue. And then between 92 and here, you guys kind of made it world famous. One was the OU game against OU with a big engagement, right? I mean, there wasn't anybody in America that wasn't watching that game. And so, and then here comes the culture. And now your coaches get picked up by other universities. Your players are only here for 4 years, but yet you continue to win. So I think that's why this place is growing like it is. It's a culture of treating one another really well. If you go out and just walk past people and everybody at home, you go, hey, how you doing? And a lot of people at home will just keep walking because it's not their culture. Here, everybody goes, hey, how you doing? How you doing? So that's a neat thing. So the things that I focused on, I don't think have changed that much, are the people. But yeah, this place is growing unbelievable. We can see it from downtown where we're at the hotel. Yes, sir.
Todd Coons, KIDK, Channel 3, Idaho Falls.
First name again, sir?
Todd.
Todd.
You mentioned the governor's call.
Yes, sir.
When Governor Little called you, on a personal note, what did that say for you? What did that mean to you?
Well, it kind of gave me a sense of relief. We've done these stadium shows and we have said one night only. That was it, because we wanted to make it a special night. Because let's take Chicago on the last tour. We were there more nights in Chicago than we're going to be on tour the whole year this year, right? So we wanted it to be one night magical things. But then when you get the report from all your people on social media that, hey, man, 60% of us that were there when you told us the tickets would go on sale never got up to the window, It makes you feel bad. It makes you feel really good, but it makes you feel bad for those people that didn't. But I can't break that kind of vow or that promise to make this a magical night. The phone rings, it's the governor. First of all, it tells me he gives a damn about his people. And secondly, it's very sweet of all the things this guy probably has to do that he's making this call. The one thing I will tell you that I was surprised about, I did not know it was being recorded. And when I heard somebody go, hey, I heard the call, I'm like, oh God, please, what did I say? And thank goodness there were no cuss words in it. It was good. So it kind of turned out well, but that was the only thing. But it was very sweet of him to do. And for them to then turn out on the second day of sales, like they did on the first one, I love this place, and they have been so sweet. I don't know why, but they've been very sweet to me. Yes, sir.
Nate Eaton with East Idaho News.
Hey,
You
Nate.
mentioned Blake will be here tonight.
Yes,
Any
sir.
other differences in tonight's show, tomorrow night's show, compared to your other stops?
Well, it's a college tour, so understand we play college and professional stadiums, and it's exactly like the sport. The college shows run a little slower. We'll get a lot more music in the college because it's a lot more diverse. Professionals, we'll just go in and just hit it, and you just try and run as fast as you can, and they're ready. That's what they're used to. But like the big difference for here, I don't know if you knew about the sound check last night, but we had a sound check last night that was student ID, where they were free with a student ID, and faculty and staff had to pay something like, I don't know, $10 or something to get in. But when you add it all up, it's a scholarship. We'll match that money, and it'll go back to a scholarship for here at Boise State. Our general hope is that scholarship goes to people who never could afford to have come to college, help them out. And if they're going to name the scholarship, to name it after somebody that never get their name on a scholarship, that's a wonderful representative of this community here. So hopefully all those things will happen. That's what you do in the college towns. And so for me, the college towns are kind of like my sentimental favorite, like everybody else's. If you talk about, no offense against the NBA, but the NBA versus March Madness, you'll see those people that March Madness, they kind of get a little bit more, and the NBA is more like show, kind of thing. So same way, when we go to the pro stadiums, we're a little slicker. If we can ever be slick, we're a little slicker. And then when you go to college, you kind of settle into the community and become part of it. It's cool. Yes, sir.
Hey, Garth, Jeff Roper from Idaho.
Hey, Jeff, how you doing?
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
We made it over. We're so excited. There's people in Pocatello and Idaho Falls are just amped.
Well,
Put you on local news at 8 tonight. You talked to me earlier, and we were talking about the connection you can feel in a stadium of 40,000 people when that song "The River" comes on. Please tell us about that.
well, the river tonight will be kind of a juggle because there's something that really, it's, tradition starts to happen. And so this stadium, if it's like every other stadium we played so far, they will light this place up. They just do it on their own. I don't know why. So you'll watch me. If I seem to be stuttering or I seem to be pacing a lot more, I'm waiting for that damn sun to go down so they can light this stadium, because it's one of the most beautiful feelings in the world. And they'll sing it, they'll take it over, and with those lights, then almost you get to become a fan. You get to step back, and you're not the face and the name now. You're an observer. And I got to tell you, it's one of the most selfishly beautiful things I've ever got to experience. So the river's kind of it for me. I'll never understand it, but that song has kind of become people. I mean, I was lucky enough to get to play baseball for the foundation. And I can't tell you how many of these big guys will come up to you and go, every day going into AAA ball, I played this all the way to the ball, and it's always the river, which I would think it would be something like really upbeat, but it's always the river. So that song kind of has a special meaning for me anyway. So that's kind of what we'll be doing tonight, is trying to get to that moment. Then hopefully what it'll be when you're walking out of here, it'll be one of a lot of moments that you hopefully feel was the highlight of the show. Good seeing you again. Yes, sir.
Steve at Channel 6.
Hey, Steve.
Talk a little bit about Dive Bar and how the song came about, how the duet came about, and why you've chosen to premiere it here in Boise.
Yeah, well, let's start backwards. We chose to premiere here in Boise because time worked out that way, and this was the only place that Blake could make it. My favorite thing was it came on a show for people who couldn't even get tickets for the first time it went around. So when you talk about an artist and you talk about the people you want to play for, do you want to play for the people that it's the easiest to get a ticket? Or do you want to play for those people that work their ass off twice as hard to get that ticket? This is going to be a cool crowd tonight because they're going to come hungry. And my job is to make them wish they never met me, man. I'm hoping I'm going to wear their ass out tonight. That's my job. I hope they crawl out of here, right? So this is going to be fun. So that's how the timing got here. The song started with a guy named Mitch Rossell who wrote Ask Me How I Know. Nice kid. Calls me up and he goes, hey, I want to do something about the deep end of a dive bar. And my immediate response back went, well, if you're going to do something in the deep end of the dive bar, you got to do something in the weak end of the deep end of a dive bar. Because that's how writers talk to each other and you laugh, right? And so about 6, 8 months later, Big Chuck, Brian Kennedy, you'll see him here. He's road manager, but he's also a songwriter. He wrote Beaches of Cheyenne, Fever, American Honky Tonk Bar Association. Mitch got with him, and they started doing it. And so when they brought it to me, I was saying, you got a real kind of a Stones feeling thing here, really loose. But what you're missing is the Jones part, right? So Jones meets Stones. Now you get to put George Jones in a Rolling Stones really loose melody. And now that roller coaster thing, you know, bring that bottle up and drink it, crank that jukebox up and hank it. That stuff right there is fun. And as soon as it went there, the original line was turn that bottle up and drank it, turn that jukebox up and crank it. And it was Mitch that says, no, you want to crank the jukebox up and hank it. Oh, really? That's how we're going to start this? So it was just fun from there. So it took about a year from when he called to when we recorded it. And then I saw Blake on the ACMs doing God's Country, his current #1 single. And there's just something in his face. I'm like, I don't even know this cat. He was raised about 40 miles from where I was raised. He's raised around Shawnee or Ada. And I'm in Oklahoma City, basically, Yukon. And so I called him up. I said, hey, man, I don't know if you'd ever think about this. And he said, hell yeah. I said, I have an EI. He goes, hell yeah, I'm in. And then he does that thing that people are so sweet of. He makes you feel 150 years old by going, in high school, man, your stuff was. So that's how we kind of got together. Sorry, Aaron, I know you're pushing, but I had the young lady behind you. Yes.
Courtney with 95.7 KTJ.
Hi, Miss Courtney.
Hi. I was just curious, what made you decide to focus on venues like this on your next upcoming tour versus smaller, more intimate crowds?
Boy, Miss Courtney, if you know me, I'll try to always defer. So I don't like to call it humble, but just being thankful and grateful for what you got. So I try not to ring our own bell. We've been in this business for long enough to where I believe we earned the chance to try and do stadiums. Stadiums is what everybody dreams of getting to do. It's kind of like the when you're a little kid, it's the big time. It's what you think of, stadiums. Because you've seen Freddie Mercury in Wembley, you know, and you've seen George Strait at Texas Stadium or Cowboy Stadium. This is what you want to do. So I thought that we had put in the time. We did the 3-year tour at the end of the 90s and went home to raise our kids. And when we came back, what we did is, if you look at history, we just married that 3-year tour right over again to kind of see where we were at. And it showed us that we could step into stadiums. Now, I'm going to be real honest. Stadiums were more of an ego thing for me because stadiums can't be warm. They're echoey. They can't be personal. And this tour has showed me the complete opposite. Somebody asked me the other day, what is my favorite tour? It's this one. It's so warm. Well, and I know we're all sitting here, because I did it too. We're all sitting here going, stadium tour can't be warm. Get ready for what you're about to see tonight. It'll just make you cry like a little baby. And just, I love it because the music is kind of taken over, which is what it should do. But I hate to be a guy. I hate to say this as a guy because I never believed it, but size does matter. Okay? And 17,000 people singing unanswered prayers as opposed to 40,000 people singing it, get ready, because it sounds like you're hearing the angels from heaven when they do it like that. So I'm really enjoying this one. Yes, sir.
I want everybody to know about the new CD. What can we expect? This is the first single you played. There's more coming.
Oh no, this is the 4th single off. The first one was All Day Long. So for a year we've been working on this thing, and every time somebody asked me how's it going, I said it's fun, it's fun, it's fun. So fun became the name of it. And the crazy thing is, when you play people stuff like Party Gras that's on it, you play them a thing called It's a Hard Way to Make an Easy Living, about this guy that sees these guys picking and think he's going to try it. And all you do is sit there and shake your head and go, oh my God, that's fun. And that's what it is. So it's just a fun record. We're not going to try and make any statements on this one. It's just going to follow the music on this one. And it's been, I wish there was another word I could use for fun, but it has been a blast. So I think it's appropriately titled, and hopefully we'll be finishing up into this month, maybe mid-August, be out for this fall.
Trisha's got one too, right?
Trisha does. Trisha came out and kicked the doors down. She came out with Every Girl. And that album, I'm just going to tell you this, not because I'm sleeping with her, but because I hear music every day. Her album might be the best one that's ever had her name on it. It's just packed with, you're going, holy cow. That was my favorite song. You hear this one, you go, no, this is my favorite song. Then you hear the next one, you go, no, that's my favorite. She's done it well. She's done it right.
She's making dinner tonight, Greg?
Now, I will tell you, I don't like to brag, but I am the smartest guy on the planet. Okay, so when we did the caterers for the tour, for the 3-year tour in this, the only requirement is they have to cook out of her cookbook. So every night you get to roll into Trisha Yearwood food. That's pretty cool. And Trisha Yearwood doesn't have to make it. That makes Trisha. She likes it. Everybody good? Yes, sir.
James Tyler from 94.9 The Wolf
Hey,
in
James.
Tri-Cities, Washington. You were talking about little moments that you have in the performance.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to go to Eugene, and it was a fantastic.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. It was awesome.
Loudest crowd I've ever heard.
It was so great. And I was just wondering, you have those moments in the show where you take the hat off, you're just standing there and you're kind of taking it in. What's going through your mind in those moments?
I do math a lot. I don't know why. Numbers are in my head a lot. So we just come from Denver, which I will swear is the greatest show of my life.
Yeah.
We roll into Oregon now. Denver's 85,000, Oregon's 60. So I'm just doing the math, right? So it's going to be 3 quarters. It'll be good. And it would have been the greatest show of my life if I hadn't got knocked on my heels the very first song. I was always catching up. They blew me away because they brag they're the loudest stadium in the world. That's their motto. And I'll be damned. I've never heard anything that loud in my life. And there's 60,000 of them compared to 85,000, you think. So the math wasn't working out. Nothing was working out. So I just sat there kind of in dumb shock the whole time and then tried to catch up. We had 2 guys from Oregon that was in the band. So when they responded the way they did to them, we had one of the G-men out with us. When they responded the way they did, I started crying. This shit should be regular by now, right?
Yeah.
But it still gets me. So I think that was it. I think if you saw me full of surprise in Oregon, it's just because they jumped. And I don't like to lose, but they kicked my ass, But it was a fun loss for me. That's
Awesome.
good. Thank you. I'll be interested to see how this one's different for you. Everyone says they're different. From my perspective, they all seem like it's the same songs that you're playing, but everybody reacts different. Aaron, you have worked your way in? Okay.
I'm as close as I can
Okay,
get
you got it.
If it's okay, we'll